खबरां दा लेखा जोखा विच आप सब दा स्वागत है।
Khabran Da Lekha Jokha December 4, 2024 has been sponsored by Hanif Litigation. Any criminal or regulatory law matters, contact lawyer Shahid Hanif at 604-626-3144. Hanif Litigation. Hundreds line up in cold for Taylor Swift merch ahead of Vancouver shows. The excitement is palpable. Hundreds of fans lined up in downtown Vancouver Wednesday morning ahead of the opening of Taylor Swift's merchandise store at Canada Place. The off-site merch store opened at 10 a.m. However, the first fan in the line braved the cold and set up camp at 4 a.m. Swift's Eras tour kicks off on Friday night with the final 3 shows of her massively successful 2-year-long tour ending in Vancouver. One woman in the merch line said Wednesday that she came all the way from Ottawa to see Swift and has tickets to all 3 sold-out shows. One man said that while his wife and daughter have tickets to a show, he was in lineup waiting to get merchandise for them so they could sleep in. The tour itself is stated to bring in around $157 million to Vancouver over the 3 days. As for the off-site merchandise store, you don't need tickets for the concert to go in, so it's a great opportunity to fans who don't have tickets to get their hands on some of the excitement. Doors for the off-site store open to Swifties gunning for the coveted blue crew neck and more Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Friday, Saturday and Sunday, doors will open between 12 and 8 p.m. There will also be a pop-up merch store at the Western Bay Shore open Thursday, Friday and Saturday. But you have to sign up for a free Marriott Bonvoy membership to get access.
ਟੇਲਰ ਸਵਿਫਟ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸ਼ੋਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਕੁਝ ਮਰਚੈਂਡਾਈਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ 10 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਸੇਲ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਿ ਖਰੀਦੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਖਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਲੋਕੀ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੈਂਕੜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਰਾਤ ਤੋਂ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸਟੋਰ ਸਵੇਰੇ 10 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਰਾਤ ਦੇ 8 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਖੁੱਲੇਗਾ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਟੇਲਰ ਸਵਿਫਟ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਕੁਝ ਮਰਚੈਂਡਾਈਜ਼ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਖਰੀਦਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ 3 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ $157 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਰਥਿਕਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਹੁਲਾਰਾ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਆਕਰਸ਼ਣ ਦਾ ਕੇਂਦਰ ਬਣਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ। 2 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਚਰਚਿਤ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਹੈ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 3 ਸ਼ੋਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੋਏਗੀ।
Head-on mission crash kills 78-year-old woman. A 78-year-old Mission woman is dead after a head-on crash Tuesday evening. The Mission RCMP says the incident happened on Wilson Street, just south of Dwidney Trunk Road around 5 p.m. Police say initial evidence suggests that a grey Pontiac Wave heading southbound had crossed the center line into oncoming traffic and hit a Ford Escape head-on. The 78-year-old driver of Pontiac died as a result of her injuries, while the 76-year-old female driver of the Ford sustained non-life-threatening injuries, Mounties said on Wednesday. Police say it's not clear why the driver of the Pontiac crossed the center line. Mounties are urging anyone who may have seen the crash or who has dash camera footage of the area to contact Mission RCMP at 604-826-7161.
ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਵਿਖੇ ਡਰਨੀ ਟਰੰਕ ਰੋਡ ਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 5 ਵਜੇ ਕੱਲ ਇੱਕ ਹਾਦਸਾ ਹੋਇਆ। 2 ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਸੀ ਟੱਕਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 78 ਸਾਲਾ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਔਰਤ ਆ ਉਹ ਦਮ ਤੋੜ ਗਈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਹਾਦਸਾ 78 ਤੇ 76 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ 2 ਡਰਾਈਵਰਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਪੌਂਟੈਕ ਤੇ ਐਸਕੇਪ ਦੇ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਹੋਇਆ। और 76 साल औरत जो है वो ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਲਾਜ ਆ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਬਹੁਤੀਆਂ ਸੱਟਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੱਜੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਖੇਤਰੀ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਸ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਐਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸੋ। ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਭਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਪੌਂਟੀਅਕ ਗੱਡੀ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਆਖਰਕਾਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਰਾਹ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਔਨ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲੀ ਗਈ।
Parents of fatal Kamloops crash victims devastated, no criminal charges laid. The parents of the victims involved in a fatal crash last year in Kamloops are devastated to learn that the driver responsible is not being criminally charged. Three Thomson Rivers University students athletes were driving outside the campus when another vehicle slammed into their car in November of 2023, killing one and critically injuring two more. The incident left Chris Brennan's son with a spine injury, and he explains the parents of all three students were told last Monday that the driver would only face charges under the Motor Vehicle Act, not the Criminal Code of Canada. The information we got that day and what we know about the incident, it's a really tough pill to swallow, and this didn't go criminal, Brennan said. At the time of the incident, the Kamloops RCMP said emergency crews were called to the area of McGill Road and University Drive for reports that a Dodge Ram truck had collided with several small trees before striking a Volkswagen that was stopped at a red light. According to the RCMP, the three victims inside the Volkswagen were taken to the hospital, though one succumbed to their injuries. Two people in a Jeep were also taken to the hospital with what the RCMP described at the time as non-life-threatening injuries. Brennan says he and the other victims' parents were stunned when they were told the driver's behavior didn't meet the criminal threshold. We really struggle with it. The driver was going double the speed, driving on a sidewalk, taking out trees, and the fact that he created so much carnage because of his driving behavior, Brennan shared. That doesn't fall into the marked departure of how I would typically drive on a day like that. It's really hard to wrap our heads around. Brennan says the families have written to provincial ministries to have the case reassessed. We recently sent a letter directly to the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, and the Assistant Attorney General, who all have the ability to request that this file get reviewed, he explained.
ਨਵੰਬਰ 2023 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਂਪਲੂਪ ਵਿਖੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੜਕ ਹਾਦਸਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਦੋ ਸਖਤ ਜਾਨਲੇਵਾ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਖਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਦਲ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਇਹ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਬੜਾ ਔਖਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦੋਸ਼ੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਕੋਡ ਦੇ ਅੰਤਰਗਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਲਕਿ ਮੋਟਰ ਵਹੀਕਲ ਐਕਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਅਧੀਨ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਾਰਾਜ਼ਗੀ ਤੇ ਨਿਰਾਸ਼ਾ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਜਨਰਲ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੂਰੇ ਦੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਵਿਭਾਗ ਤੱਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਕੇਸ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਾਈਲ ਆ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਨਿਗਾਹਖੋਰੀ ਕਰਨ।
Here's an update list of Canada's top 25 most wanted fugitives. An updated list of Canada's 25 most wanted fugitives was shared across the country on Wednesday, and investigators are offering financial rewards to anyone with information about their whereabouts. Number one on the list is Dave Turmel, a 28-year-old man from Quebec wanted on Canada-wide warrants for several offenses, including but not limited to substance trafficking, conspiracy, and assault with a weapon. Turmel is also suspected of having participated in several criminal activities still under active investigation by several police services. Joining Turmel as the top 5 most wanted fugitives are Al Boivan, Quebec, Rabi Al Khalil, BC, Adrian Walker, Toronto, Philip Grant, Toronto, and Dylan Dennis, Montreal. Rewards for information about their arrest range from $250,000 to $50,000. Police said Boivan is wanted by the Sûreté du Quebec on Canada-wide warrants for numerous drug-related offenses. Authorities have been looking for Boivan since February 23rd of 2023 and believe his girlfriend, 26-year-old Yolise Lamwex Belavance, is accompanying him. Al Khalil is considered a very dangerous criminal who broke out of the North Fraser pretrial center in July of 2022 while on trial for first-degree murder. He was found guilty by a jury a month after his escape and remains at large. It's unknown if he's still in Canada or abroad, and he's known to use fake identity documents and passports. Walker and Grant, both of Ontario, are wanted in separate murder investigations in Toronto. Police said Dennis is wanted in connection with murder of Montreal in May. All Bolo rewards are offered for any information leading to the arrest of the suspects, period, and Bolo program director Maxime Langlois. The eventual conviction of these accused has nothing to do with our rewards. If your tip is successful, our priority will be to get you the money you deserve as soon as possible. We've done several times over the past 7 years. 8 of the 25 suspects are from Toronto. On Wednesday, investigations listed Catherine Bergeron Penzarone of Mississauga, Ontario, as the 7th most wanted fugitive in the country for her connection to the fatal stabbing of a 16-year-old boy from Quebec that occurred in Ontario. York Regional Police said Penzarone, wanted for second-degree murder, is known to reside in Mississauga and Quebec. In April, Michael Bebee was named Canada's most wanted fugitive for his alleged role in the murder of Toronto man Shamar Powell Flowers. In November 2023, TIPS officers announced that BB was wanted Canada-wide for second-degree murder. Powell Flowers has found at the scene with gunshot wounds and was rushed to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The Bolo program is an initiative leveraging social media technology and innovative engagement to encourage citizens to be on the lookout for Canada's most wanted. Since 2018, the non-profit Bolo program has built its most wanted list from the voluntarily submitted list of people departments across Canada.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 25 ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਰਾਇਮ ਪੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿਛੋਕੜ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਿਸਟ ਹੈ ਜਾਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਲਿਸਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਿਪ ਹੈ ਅਗਰ ਉਹ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਟਿਪ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ $50,000 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 2.5 ਲੱਖ ਤੱਕ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਾਮ ਹੈ $2.5 ਲੱਖ ਦਾ ਇਨਾਮ ਆ ਉਹ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬੋਲੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ 2018 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ अलग-अलग पुलिस एजेंसियां वालों मोस्ट वांटेड ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਜਰਾਇਮ ਪੇਸ਼ਾ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਲਿਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਜਰਾਇਮ ਪੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਿ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੁਰਮ ਨੇ ਅਪਰਾਧਿਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿਛੋਕੜ ਹੈ ਅਪਰਾਧਿਕ ਕਾਰਵਾਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਤਰਗਤ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਚੋਂ ਭੱਜ ਜਾਂ ਛੁੱਟ ਜਾਂ ਦੌੜ ਗਏ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਪੂਰੀ ਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਸੂਚੀ ਹੈ।
These companies have laid off Canadian workers in 2024. Canadians are continuing to be laid off as part of a wave of job cuts that began in 2023 as companies assess their operations after the height of the COVID-19 pandemic passed. Tech companies, retailers, and more have all begun shedding members of their workforce in a bid to navigate the economic downturn. These are some of the companies which have laid off Canadian workers in 2024. BCE Incorporation, the Montreal-based telecommunications giant, said on February 8 it was cutting 4,800 jobs at all levels of the company, although some of the job losses were to come from vacancies and natural attrition rather than layoffs. BRP Incorporation, the maker of ski-doo products, said in December that it had laid off more than 120 workers and managers at 3 of its Quebec facilities. Bench C, the Toronto-based artificial intelligence startup, let go of an unspecified number of workers in January because of economic environment, operational efficiencies, and adoption to technological advancements, specifically generative AI. BlackBerry Limited, the Waterloo, Ontario-based technology company, announced plans to cut an unspecified number of jobs on February 12th as it worked to separate 2 of its business divisions. The Body Shop Canada Limited court document showed that the subsidiary of the international cosmetics retailer planned to lay off about 200 workers in March as it sought creditor protection and closed 33 stores. The filings also revealed 20 head office employees and 2 contractors had recently been cut. Canada Goose Holding Incorporation, the Toronto-based luxury apparel maker, said in March that it was laying off 17% of its global corporate workforce to put the company in a better position for scaling. Cascades Incorporation, the paper and packing company, said on February 13 that it was closing 3 plants in a move that would affect 310 employees. Cohere, the Toronto-based artificial intelligence company, shed 20 roles in July, days after it raised 500 US dollars funding round, valuing the company at 5.5 billion US dollars. Chorus Entertainment Incorporation, the broadcaster, confirmed in February that it had laid off an unspecified number of workers across several stations. Then in June, Unifor said 35 of its members at Global News were laid off as part of the changes made by Chorus. CPA Canada, Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada, said on February 12 that it was cutting 20% of its workforce ahead of a move by provincial oversight bodies in Ontario and Quebec to split from the national organization. Doral Industries Incorporation, the maker of children's products and home furniture, revealed in March that it's previously laid off 40 employees. Enbridge Incorporation, the Calgary-based pipeline giant, announced plans to cut 650 positions over the course of February, citing increasingly challenging business conditions, including higher interest rates, economic uncertainty, and the ripple effects of geopolitical developments. Factory Direct, the Vaughan Ontario electronics and home good retailer, said in court documents filed in February that it would terminate 200 employees as the company winds down. General Motors, in August, the automaker laid off a small percentage of workers in Canada as part of a wider headcount reduction in its software and services unit, affecting more than 1,000 salaries employees worldwide. Google, the tech giant, kicked off the year by trimming its workforce, leaving hundreds of its staff without jobs. Dan Reilly, a spokesperson for the Alphabet Workers Union, Communication Workers of America Union, and some of the department staff were located in Canada. Group Juste Pour Rire Incorporation, the company behind the annual Montreal Comedy Festival, announced in early March that it would cut 75 workers as the organization sought creditor protection. Hudson's Bay Company, the departmental store chain, cut fewer than 100 people, representing less than 1% of its workforce, on April 30th. Indigo Books and Music Incorporation, Laurentian Bank, Lightspeed Commerce Incorporation, Line Electric Limited, Lynx Air, Manulife Financial Corporation, Mastermind Toys, Mountain Equipment Company, OpenTex Corp, Questrade Financial Group Incorporation, Ryocan Real Estate Investment Trust, Rogers Rona Incorporation, Saks Global, Skip the Dishes, Staples Canada, Tiaga Motors Corporation, Tokyo Smoke, TC Energy Corporation, Vice Media Group, Wayfair, they all are cutting employees.
2024 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਤਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਰੁਖਸਤ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਲੇ-ਆਫਸ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਰਿਓਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਹਟਾਏ ਗਏ ਜਾਂ ਲੇ-ਆਫ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਦੱਸੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਦੱਸੇ ਗਏ ਕਿ ਬਦਲਦੇ ਹਾਲਾਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਵਰਕਫੋਰਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਕੇ ਆਰਥਿਕ ਪੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਵਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ। ਪਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਲੇ-ਆਫਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾਤਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੋਂ ਲਾਂਭੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ।
Poliver offers 2 hours on Monday for Freeland to present full economic statement. Conservative leader Pierre Poliver is offering to give up time on an opposition day in the House of Commons to allow Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland to present the full fiscal update. Poliver says he will allow Freeland 2 hours to present the full economic statement on Monday, a day allocated for Conservatives to present their own motions in Parliament. The Conservatives leader says he'll give up that time so the government can tell Canadians whether it kept a promise to cap the federal deficit at $40 billion. The Parliamentary Budget Officer is projecting the government will exceed its own fiscal guardrail with a deficit of $46.8 billion for the previous fiscal year. A senior government official says delivering a full economic statement less than 48 hours before a Bank of Canada interest rate announcement would be irresponsible and not a serious suggestion. Freeland has not yet announced a date for the fiscal update, telling reporters on Tuesday that the filibuster in Parliament is standing in the way of the government's work.
ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੰਤਰਾਲਾ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਨੂੰ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਲੀਡਰ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲਵਰ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ 2 ਘੰਟੇ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਧਾਰਾ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਆ ਕੇ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਨ। ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਜਟ ਦਾ ਅੰਕੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ।
Canada Post strike disrupts mail-in cancer screening kits, driver's license renewals. The average number of letters people receive has dropped significantly over the years, down to just 2 per week compared to 7 per week in 2006, according to Canada Post. Nevertheless, when you do get the old envelope, it's likely a good reason, a government notice, bank update, or other crucial missive that can't be transmitted online. The ongoing postal strike is highlighting just how important that mail can be, said Marvin Ryder, a professor with McMaster University's D. Grutte School of Business in Hamilton. People forget, Ryder suggested, of the key role provided by snail mail. They simply forgot about things like renewal of passport. There are over 80,000 passports waiting in Mississauga. They've been printed. They are ready to go out, but we deliver them by letter mail. Now, 3 weeks in, the strike's effects are hard to miss. Here are some of the things affected by the mail shutdown. Canadians waiting on government documents such as passports and healthcare cards can expect delays. The federal government says those who didn't pay extra to pick up their passports will be affected. Those who need the document urgently are advised to call Service Canada or visit in person to request the passport be made available for pickup instead. In Ontario, the government is telling people waiting for a health card renewal that they can receive emergency medical care at a hospital or clinic. It also says people should keep their receipts as temporary proof that they qualify for provincial health insurance, which they can use with their expired health card. Provinces that send residents at home cancer screening kits are warning people not to send them back by mail during the strike. That includes Ontario residents who got a immune chemical test kit by mail to screen for colorectal cancer. Typical recipients would mail their stool sample to a lab. Now the province is telling people to deliver their sample in person. In British Columbia, much of the cervical self-screening process has been put on hold. The test, which involves swabbing the vagina, screens for HPV, the virus that causes cervical cancer. If the sample doesn't reveal HPV, the patient can forego a Pap test. The province says it isn't mailing kits during the Canada Post strike, and those who have them shouldn't complete them until the labor disruption is over. Residents who want a kit can order one now, but it won't be sent until Canada Post resumes services. Both provinces say residents will receive the results of completed tests, but not directly by mail. Results will be shared with the patient's primary care provider. Some charities are reporting a drop in donations that they attribute to the strike. In Vancouver, the VGH and UBC Hospital Foundation says its annual Millennial Lottery ticket is taking a hit amid the labor action. The campaign raises money for medical research and equipment supporting Vancouver General Hospital, UBC Hospital, and other health services. Like many charities, it relies on mail campaigns to get the word out, but with the strike in effect, the charity hasn't been able to distribute lottery brochures or distributing ticket sales. The Toronto Zoo Wildlife Conservancy said it's also feeling the pinch. Like many non-profits across the country, most of our donations come in at the end of the year, many of them via the mail. Executive Director Katie Coates said in an email, donations this year roughly 40% lower than the same time last year. Coates said, though it's unclear just how much of that is related to the mail strike. Both organizations are urging people to donate online. In some cases, Canada Post delivers library materials directly to patrons, but that is now on hold. So too are interlibrary loan services facilitated by the Canadian Library Materials Service, which gets a reduced rate to ship materials to registered public libraries, university libraries, and other libraries operated by non-profit organizations. Likewise, the Centre for Equitable Library Access is not delivering physical materials during the strike. The organization provides library materials to people with a learning, physical, or visual disability that prevents them from reading conventional print. While digital services are not affected, it has post-production and distribution of audiobooks, CDs, embossed braille, and print braille until the strike is over.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਪੋਸਟ ਦੇ ਪੈ ਰਹੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਵੱਡੇ ਪੱਧਰ ਤੇ ਆਇਆ। ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਦਸਤਾਵੇਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਕੈਂਸਰ ਕਿਟਸ ਦਾ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਭੇਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੈਂਪਲ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੱਡੀ ਪੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਹਦਾਇਤਾਂ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕੈਂਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਪੀੜਤ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਕੈਂਸਰ ਕਿਟ ਨੂੰ ਆਰਡਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੇਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿਸਰਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ। ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੈਂਪਲ ਨੇ ਭੇਜਣ ਲਈ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਵਾਪਸ ਪਹੁੰਚਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਉਹ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਪੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਦਸਤਾਵੇਜ਼ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਵਿਭਾਗ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 80,000 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਸਪੋਰਟ ਨੇ ਅੰਟਰੀਓ ਵਿਖੇ ਬੜੇ ਪਏ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਭੇਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੰਟਰੀਓ ਦਾ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਕਾਰਡ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਤਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੱਕ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੇਜੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ। ਔਰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ 2006 ਦੇ ਮੁਕਾਬਲੇ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮੇਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਪੈਂਡੈਂਸੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਘਟੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 2 ਚਿੱਠੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਦਰ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 6 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ। ਔਰ ਇਹ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕਸ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਾੜੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਨੇ ਪੈ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ।
Cyber attack targets New Westminster School District. More than a week after it occurred, New Westminster School District 40 says it was the victim of a cyber attack. While the school district is not releasing many details, it says an external party gained unauthorized access to the district's IT system. The school district says its technology team shut down the network district-wide as a precaution. The Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioners and the New Westminster Police Department have been notified about this incident. We are still investigating the situation, better understanding the extent of the intrusion, and have engaged cybersecurity experts to support us, District 40 shared today. The school district has not released what information may have been accessed, whose privacy may have been breached, nor how it is addressing those concerns. We take the privacy and the protection of personal information belonging to staff, students and parents very seriously and will provide the community with updates about this incident as more information becomes available, the district said. District 40 declined a request for an interview.
ਨਿਊ ਵੈਸਟਮਿਨਸਟਰ ਸਕੂਲ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਨੰਬਰ 40 ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਾਰੋਮਦਾਰ ਹੈ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਸਾਈਬਰ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਖਲਅੰਦਾਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਕਿ ਪਤਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੁੱਛ ਪੜਤਾਲ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਿਭਾਗ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤੇ ਟੈਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਤਫਤੀਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਅਟੈਕ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਔਰ ਕੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਧੇਰੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਨਸ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਤਫਤੀਸ਼ ਅਜੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ।
North Vancouver man suspected of attempted murder in California. 2 Canadians, including a 25-year-old North Vancouver man, are the center of an alleged failed murder plot in California. Police from Monterey County, California, say the man and his alleged accomplice from Angus, Ontario, have both been arrested and charged with attempted murder and conspiracy to commit attempted murder, among other charges. The Monterey County Sheriff's Office says it's received reports of stabbing just before 10 p.m. on Sunday, November 25th. Upon arrival, deputies were able to locate a total of 3 subjects who had all received injuries consistent with being stabbed. All 3 individuals were transported to a local hospital with a minor to critical injuries and are expected to survive, the sheriff's office said. MCSO says its detectives have learned that the North Vancouver suspect and a female stabbing victim had met through an online gaming platform and the suspect flew from Canada to California because of her. Police say he arrived at a residence in the county and knocked on the door while holding a package. The female victim's boyfriend opened the door and the suspect allegedly forced his way in and stabbed the man. Police say the female victim was injured and allegedly attacked while trying to defend her boyfriend. She received what we are calling moderate injuries and she was treated and released the same night of the incident, Commander Andres Rosal said. The boyfriend received critical injuries and he was taken to a trauma center locally. The suspect also reported sustained moderate injuries during the alleged struggle. Rosas says he was in critical but stable condition the last time he checked. Police say the package that the suspect was carrying contained handcuffs, duct tape, and knives. His suspected accomplice was initially contacted near the scene, reportedly denying knowledge of the incident. When police determined that he could be involved, the suspected accomplice was arrested the following morning on a flight preparing to return to Canada. The North Vancouver man is currently being held at $2 million bail. His alleged accomplice is being held at $2 million bail. Rossi says both men appeared in court on Monday and pleaded not guilty. Both men are scheduled to appear in court again next week.
ਨਾਰਥ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਦੋਸਤ ਦੇ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ ਔਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੈਕੇਜ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਸੂਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਔਰਤ ਦੇ ਬॉयਫ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਨੇ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ਾ ਖੋਲ੍ਹਿਆ ਧੱਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੜ ਕੇ ਉਸਨੇ ਉਸਦੇ ਬॉयਫ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹਮਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਸਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਖਮੀ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਸਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਉਸ ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਸਨੇ ਜ਼ਖਮੀ ਕੀਤਾ। ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਪਕੜ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਮਦਦਗਾਰ ਸਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਹਿਰਾਸਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ $2 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਉੱਪਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਧਨ ਰਾਸ਼ੀ ਦੀ ਬੇਲ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ और इस वक्त जो इन्हां दी अगली सुनवाई तक जेल च रहणगे।
इसी के साथ हमें दीजिएगा इजाजत। खबरां दा लेखा जोखा प्रोग्राम से until next time, goodbye and be safe।